Hi everyone, it's Dr. Hesser, and I'm here today to talk to you about Module 2. We have two main topics in Module 2, and those are information ethics, a continuation from Module 1, and then also analyzing research, or analyzing the literature. So the information ethics activity has to do with the Belmont Report. This is a nice short little overview of the Belmont Report. And then this is actually the Belmont Report. Then there is a course requirement for an assessment related to the Belmont Report. So my advice is to look at the assessment and the assessment questions. And then as you are reading and getting information, you're finding the answers to these questions. What do these main principles in the Belmont Report mean? So that's the way I would tackle this. That's a suggestion. Then the second topic is about analyzing literature. So I like to do these questions and then little push pins with the information related to the question. So the first question we have is, how do I select and analyze literature that's relevant to our research? And that is related to chapters 4 and 5 of our book. So chapter 4, and of course I don't have my reading glasses on, organizing yourself to begin selecting relevant titles. And then chapter 5, conducting a deep analysis of the articles. Now, in the last module, I gave you that super video with the professor who walked you through the fact that you should not read these journal articles from beginning to end, that there are special parts that you're looking for. So keep that in mind as you're continuing to do your search. Then a question, is the research you are reading credible? So in your annotated bibliography project, in the final draft, you are going to be asked to put in a sentence or two about how you know the resource that you are including and annotating is credible. So Texas A&M has in their library a source that I've included here about how to evaluate scholarly sources. It's actually called, no joke, the CRAP test. So you want to make sure that your article or journal or source that you've chosen passes the CRAP test. And these are the specific things that you're looking for to ensure that what you have is credible. Then a second question, is the research I am reading biased? Now, for example, when I was a school administrator, I would evaluate programs that we were considering purchasing for the district. And one of the things I would do is look at the research. And as I was looking at the research, the very first thing I would do is determine who conducted the research. Because they always have research that says that their product is effective. And student achievement just went through the roof. Well, interestingly, a lot of that research is either conducted directly by that company or was financed by that company. So then, you're looking at biased research. So this is a short, it's not super short, but it's a nice little video about the importance of being able to trust the research and the ethics of knowledge production as we are producing knowledge together when we are researching. Bonus, so if you want to watch this video, I made a video about how I organized my literature review for my doctoral work. And also how I read, like just the efficiency of reading journal article after journal article. I had 1,900 different citations. I didn't use all of them, but how do you site and keep track of that information and start looking for trends. So I made a quick video on how I put that together. And actually, my university had me present that to other students because it worked really well and a lot of other people picked it up. So if you want to take the time to watch that, hopefully it'll be helpful to you. Then another anchor question, why should I create an annotated bibliography? So we've got a short video here about the purpose of an annotated bibliography and why this is a good thing. And then how do I create the APA citations for an annotated bibliography? Here are a few references. You have your APA handbook, but you also have Purdue OWL, which is a great resource when writing academically. I used this website, the Citation Machine, so I added it in here. There's a paid version, but you don't have to get that. You just have to watch a 30-second commercial to get your citations. And I actually used it for most of the citations for this course when I reworked it a little bit for you all. So I really like the Citation Machine. You just have to be sure that you're choosing APA because they have MLA, they have other options for sourcing, and you want to make sure that you're in the APA, which is what is required for our college in this course. Are there any examples or templates available for creating an annotated bibliography? So Purdue OWL has some instructions and samples. I really like this Monroe University Library template. They have a template that I've included. If you click on this website, they actually have a template in Word. There is no reason to recreate the wheel. Pull the word template. Everything is already organized in APA format. So you don't have to worry about what the title page should look like, the numbering, how you indent if you have more than one paragraph for an annotation. All of that is done. So my suggestion is to key in on this if you'd like. Obviously, it's not a requirement, but the requirement is that you follow everything that's in this template because it is aligned with APA. What are the requirements for this assignment? So everything's laid out here in the annotated bibliography project paper for this course. The timeline is that you're submitting 6 sources, which is due next Sunday or Sunday of week 3. And then I'm going to give you feedback best I can. Please submit it in PDF form because I will take my Notability app and use my iPad and Apple Pencil to highlight some things and write you some notes. It will not probably be extensive because there are 42 of you and I want to turn this around quickly. Then submission 2 is the week after that, and it is the final draft, which includes 10 references that you annotate. Not more than 10, just 10 annotated references. All right. Make sure it's a PDF, that you use APA formatting, this says minimum of 10, but I really want to cut it off at 10. 10. At each one should be 150 to 200 words. That is something that was included in the requirements for the core template course that was given to me. So let's stay with that. Make sure you're using formal academic language. I'm attaching here below the first draft rubric and the final draft rubric. And then, of course, sources, and then here's the sample papers we already talked about. The rubric for the first draft is the rubric that was given to me with the course, and it's a little open-ended, which I think is great for a first draft. This gives you an idea of 2 major things we're looking for: the quality of your sources, and then the formatting and structure and details included in your annotation. So we're looking to make sure all of this is present. Please, key in on the accomplished and do your very best to make sure your annotations are at that level. The rubric for the final draft, I reworked it to make it a little more, I don't know. I like to make things a little more detailed so it's very clear what we're all looking for. So there are, I think there's 7 sections here. APA formatting. So we're looking for the entire document to be formatted according to APA guidelines. And here again is a link to that sample that I think is just a great sample to work off of. The next section is that you have cited 10 sources, and that is worth 20 points. But they're cited according to APA. Again, use Citation Machine and or another source like that where you can input the information and it will help you create the APA citation, because sometimes it can get a little hairy when you're citing something that's a little different, like say an interview with an expert or something like that. Okay, within each annotation, there are these things. This is what I really separated out so that we're all clear on what we're trying to create. So the length is, again, that 150 to 200 words. It includes a summary of the source, the main points of the source. It includes an explanation of the relevance of that source to your research topic. And then it includes an explanation of the credibility of the source. How do you know it's credible? And you can refer back to that crap test, which I think is hilarious. And expected writing mechanics. Of course, we would never want to see grammatical, spelling, punctuation errors. And Grammarly Pro is free through TAMIU. And that's what I use. And I highly suggest you grab it. Make sure you run everything you're turning in for any course through Grammarly. And honestly, I don't even send emails without it being sent through Grammarly. I have the Grammarly attachment on my email program. There's no reason to have grammatical or spelling errors nowadays, especially when we have free access to a program like that. Okay, so at the end of the learning activities for this module 2, you have a quiz over chapters 4 and 5 of the text. And then you have a discussion post, which happens every week. And then, of course, a reminder that your draft bibliography is due the next week. The discussion board post just asks you to give some, first of all, 100 to 200 words. We don't need a big paper here. But give an example of how you are narrowing your topic and how you're reviewing scholarly articles. How are you thinking this through? What decisions are you making? And of course, if you are giving someone else's ideas, please make sure that you're citing them. And that is it. So in module 3, I'll make a video for that. And we'll get further into analyzing literature. And of course, I'm clicking on all kinds of random things right now. So please excuse that. You knew that would happen at some point. I hope that you have a great rest of your week. We have a birthday party this weekend for one of our grandbabies. So we are going to have a good time. And I hope you have a good time too. Take care.